episode 4. And this week we look at non-fungible tokens, and we have an interview with NFTMakerio creator Patrick Tobler. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Learn Cardano podcast, where we break down all those technical aspects of Cardano so that you can explain it to your little brother or sister. This week we have a couple of really interesting news items. One in regards to the Ethereum hard fork and the massive downward swing that we saw across the entire cryptocurrency markets. We look into what may have caused that. And then for our main topic for this week, we look at non-fungible tokens or NFTs. We look at how they exist, how they're created on the Cardano blockchain. And I have an interview with Patrick Tobler, the creator of NFTMakerio. We talk about some of the technical aspects in regards to creating NFTs on Cardano, how his website has made that process so much easier for people to simply upload an image and create an NFT. And then we look at the future for his NFT Maker website and the team that he's assembled to take it further into the future and turn it into an NFT marketplace. Very exciting stuff, and I can't wait to see what happens with all that. But first off, let's get into the news. First up, we finally see Ethereum's hard fork, codenamed Berlin. It was delayed since mid last year and has finally made its release. Now, Ethereum being one of Cardano's main competitors, it's probably a good idea to watch the space there and see what's going on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, Ethereum's path to Ethereum 2.0 may be completely successful, and all of the projects that are waiting for it may benefit immensely for their patience and the network upgrades. But it's going to take a while. And it hasn't been an easy journey for Ethereum with these upgrades and hard forks. There have been delays, and a lot of politics are in play in regards to these delays. But it's still moving along. The next release, called London, will introduce more changes to Ethereum blockchain as well as other planned Ethereum improvement proposals, or EPIs, that have a direct effect on one part of the community, the miners. It stated that the Ethereum miners could lose as much as 50% of their mining rewards with the upcoming update, and projects on the Ethereum network are starting to protest. The changes in EIP004 are there to reduce the transaction fee, or in the Ethereum space it's known as gas. Now, this has been a problem because of the huge amounts of interest and traffic on the Ethereum blockchain recently, and you can see transactions go up to costing $60 to perform a simple transaction. Now, this is a huge barrier to entry for new started investors who are trying to get into DeFi on the Ethereum blockchain and can't do so if they're investing only $30 or $40 worth of Ethereum or whatever cryptocurrency they're planning to use on the Ethereum blockchain, and are being slapped with a $60 or $70 fee to actually transfer that on or around the blockchain. That is ridiculously high, and that is one of the reasons why they are wanting to propose this improvement to the Ethereum blockchain. Another change that arises within it is the burning of ETH. Now, this comes in when a miner produces a block. So when a block gets cryptographically verified, the miners would get a reward. There is a bit of a fee and a tip for the miner. Now, that base fee is going to get burnt or discarded, and that means there'll be less Ethereum or ETH in the Ethereum blockchain. So this creates a bit of scarcity as there is less ETH around to use and trade on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, this can cause a hard fork on the Ethereum blockchain, and this isn't an upgrade hard fork like we see on Cardano. This is more of a split within the Ethereum blockchain. Now, we've seen this once before when there was a disagreement with the big hack that happened in the early days on the Ethereum blockchain, and we saw the community split with Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. That could possibly happen again. I wouldn't like to see that because it really splits and divides a community. but there is a lot of signed opposition in regards to this upcoming proposal. And I left a tweet on our show notes page where you can see people getting signatures and votes from various projects on the Ethereum blockchain which oppose this particular change. In other news, we also saw a massive market correction or crash on the weekend where we saw all of the cryptocurrencies take a big nosedive. Now, in researching why this happened, I stumbled across a couple of tweets and posts mentioning that there was a huge blackout in a Chinese province called Xinjiang. And this blackout basically took out a massive portion of the Bitcoin blockchain mining network. Now, when the network goes down, the hash rate which verifies all the blocks goes down dramatically. I've posted a couple of screenshots that were created by Twitter user Willy Woo, who really breaks down and analyzes a lot of the market reactions and movements based on data that he collects from around the internet. And this is one of the factors that he looked into. Now, this has happened before. Back in 2017, there was also another big episode where the hash rate for Bitcoin dropped dramatically, and as a result, the price dropped dramatically as well. There is that correlation between hash rate and price in regards to Bitcoin. But the price drop in Bitcoin also affected many of the other cryptocurrencies as people are trading against different pairs, etc. And when one thing goes down, the other ones go down as well. And that's what we saw over the weekend, and that could have possibly been one of the major reasons why. We also saw a lot of news updates in regards to countries such as Turkey potentially banning cryptocurrencies altogether. But I don't know if that would have had such a major effect and such a widespread effect on so many different cryptocurrencies in different markets all at the same time. Now, with that is the news out of the way. Remember, you can get to all of the show notes at cardano.com.au/EP004, and you can get all the links to the articles and references that I have mentioned in this podcast. Now, I almost forgot, but before we jump into this podcast interview with Patrick, I'd just like to point out the new merchandise store that we have on our website. If you go to the website cardano.com.au, you'll be able to see the links to merchandise, and you can see the Ada Bull t-shirt that we designed, and also Space Buds 350, the space dog that we purchased, and we have turned it into socks. Now, I'll also be producing a one-off Space Buds 350 NFT t-shirt. So it's going to be a physical item that is converted into an NFT, and we'll have some special features and one-off designs on that particular t-shirt for a lucky listener that may want to purchase it off our store. Now, the store isn't perfect, it isn't ready yet, and I do want to accept crypto payments on there. And when that is all set up and ready to go, I will let you all know. Check out the Twitter account and follow the updates in regards to that, and you'll be the first to know when it is all released. Okay, sorry for delaying. Let's get into this interview. Patrick, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. It's great to have you here. Could you tell all the listeners a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background and where you live?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Peter. Pete, sorry. I'm Patrick. I'm from Germany. I'm a student, a computer science student. I live in Stuttgart, so the city with all the cars, basically. And I'm almost done with my studies. So I'm studying computer science. I'm currently writing my bachelor thesis about Cardano, actually. And I'm running a stake pool called the Pool of Babel, and I'm also developing some cool dApps for Cardano and all that stuff.
So how did you get into Cardano, and how did you get into the crypto space in general?
I mean, like most people, it started for me back in 2017 when the big hype was there and Bitcoin blew up and everything blew up. And then I started with Bitcoin, and then I discovered Ethereum and all the other coins, and I bought so many shit coins, basically. And one day I just stumbled upon Cardano, And I was interested right from the get-go, basically. I mean, it's a super interesting project, but back then, of course, it didn't really do anything. So I kept watching and kept following for a few years, right? And then in like the middle of last year, I really got engaged more. I started my stake pool. I started trying to figure out how and what to build for Cardano. And then, I got more into it, and now I'm like doing nothing else besides Cardano. It feels like sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same way. I really wish I did pick up Cardano again middle of last year when all the stake pools were starting to operate. But yeah, very similar story picking up crypto back in 2017. What was the worst thing that you purchased back then?
Actually, the only thing I purchased and didn't make a return, but I still kind of believe that one day it's going to be a really cool project, is Neo.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think in theory, Neo sounds really good with proof of stake and all that stuff, and a lot of cool programming languages and many like interesting parts there, but it just didn't really develop, and there's no real community about it around it actually. And then you can't really do anything with it. So I don't know. I just have it, and that's it.
Yeah, I remember it used to produce gas or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had very vague recollections of it now. I had a few friends that were into it, but I never got into it myself.
Yeah, I don't really understand it either, to be honest. I really have to dig a bit deeper one day.
So now with the NFT space booming so much on the Cardano blockchain, can you explain to the audience what an NFT actually is? Okay,
so I think the opinions about this vary a lot. But for me, NFTs are basically like the digital representation of ownership on a blockchain. So basically you have an item. It doesn't really matter what that item is. It could be a picture, like most of the NFTs right now. It could be video. It could be a house. It could be a car. It doesn't really matter. And you have this NFT, and basically the person who owns this NFT owns that item. So it's just the ownership on the blockchain. And then once you have it on the blockchain, you can easily like transfer it and send it to other people and trade it and stuff like that, and use it in smart contracts, right? So that's very interesting. But yeah, of course, there's a lot of like hype around it at the moment. I mean, there are thousands or millions of NFTs, and most of them are pretty much like not that great, to say it mildly.
Yeah.
But the theory stands, right? So the person who owns the NFT should be the person who owns the image or the item, right? And sometimes that's not the case, because we have a lot of fake Twitter accounts who steal art from good artists and then just make a random NFT and sell it to people. And of course, like the fake Twitter account doesn't own the actual art piece, so that's a big problem. But yeah, I mean, in general, the point is, just ownership. And I hope that in the future, with all the regulatory stuff happening and all the legislations and stuff like that, this is going to become a lot better, right? To really have it in a real legal sense of way, I guess.
Yeah, I could see NFTs playing a really big part in property and aspects like that of property ownership, car ownership, or anything. But in regards to those copyright issues of artwork and digital art pieces, can you see any way to not get past, but stop those people from copywriting and blatantly copying images and passing them on as their own?
I think that's extremely hard. It's almost impossible. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about how to basically encrypt some file, like for example, a music piece, and then have the NFT owner be the only one who's able to decrypt that file. That would be amazing, because then basically everybody who owns the NFT could actually listen to the music, and everybody who doesn't own the NFT could not listen to the music. But still, you can still just copy it very easily, even by recording with your phone or something. And It's pretty much impossible to be 100% complete, safe. Yeah.
Even with the latest space buds that you see floating around, it's quite easy just to get the original image that's stored on the IPFS and then just copy it and do whatever you want with it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So it's an interesting space, and I guess we just have to watch how it's going to develop in regards to copyright and permissions. Yeah.
Definitely. It's like the Wild West at the moment.
Oh, yeah, very much so. It really does remind me of the 2017, 2018 ICO days when every company was doing a coin offering and making some money out of it. So in regards to the NFTs, how does NFTs differ on Cardano compared to Ethereum, for example?
So the main thing on Ethereum is basically that there's like ETH, the currency of Ethereum, and then there are smart contracts, and you can basically use these smart contracts to build your own tokens. So that's what's being done with all the ERC20 tokens and also with the NFT tokens, so the ERC721 tokens. And they all use these smart contracts. So it's quite expensive. You always have to trigger the smart contract to create a new token. You have to trigger the smart contract to send your token to other people, which is a lot of overhead, I believe. So it's not that easy to send the token to a random person. There's always some code on the blockchain connected to that. And then in Cardano, of course, we do have the native tokens thing. So basically, every token issued on Cardano is handled the exact same way as ADA, which is absolutely amazing because you can just handle all the tokens you own in your wallet. You can select them, send them around, and it just works. And it's super easy to do. And it's also a lot cheaper to do so because you don't always have to trigger a smart contract. Plus, of course, Ethereum has, the gas issues, and it's like super expensive. I had a friend of mine who actually did the design for the NFTmakerio page, and he tried to mint an NFT on Ethereum, and he paid like €200 or something like that. Totally crazy. And of course, he didn't sell it because it's just some random NFT. But yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But he still paid it, even though he wasn't.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's definitely, and also one more thing, which I think is very important, because I see it on Twitter and on social media a lot. NFTs on Ethereum, of course, use the whole Ethereum blockchain, and that's pretty bad at the moment because the blockchain just requires so much energy. It's really bad for the environment and stuff like that. So a lot of artists are actively against NFTs because they just think, okay, it's not worth it. That's just makes too much damage to the environment. And then, you come to Cardano, and basically our servers run on Raspberry Pis and stuff like that, servers like that. So it's very environmentally friendly. And that's, of course, one of the biggest benefits from my point of view. From proof of stake in general.
I completely agree, and I would love to see a lot of these artists embrace NFTs on the Cardano blockchain eventually when they realize the complete differences between Cardano and Ethereum.
Yeah.
We'll see that wave come. So in regards to creating a NFT on Cardano, how's that process done?
So basically, there are three steps you have to do in order to create an NFT on Cardano. So the first one is pretty simple. It's the issuing a native token. And there are tutorials for that. So you basically have to use the CLI or the Cardano Wallet API. Then you have to type some commands, name your token, say how many tokens you want to have, and stuff like that. And that's pretty straightforward, and it's the same for NFTs and for normal tokens. So for ERC20 tokens, for example. And then to make this token that you just issued into an NFT, you have to do some other steps. So number two actually would be attaching metadata to the NFT or to the token, right? So you want to have the metadata and store some information in there. So for example, the hash of the image or the hash of the file of that NFT, also some information like about the author or some description, stuff like that. And you do that by basically attaching the metadata of the NFT into the minting transaction of the token. So every time someone like interacts with the token, they can just look up what the minting transaction. And then in the minting transaction, there's this metadata file, and it's in every block explorer and on Cardano Scan and whatever. And then you can see basically what this token actually holds, which kind of information it holds. And then the third step, which is also really important, is the policy. So we do have token policies on Cardano, and they basically say, okay, who can own this token, or who can mint this token, who can, when can it be minted, and stuff like that. And to have it be a real NFT, you basically want to say that you can only have one of these NFT tokens, right? One or sometimes multiple, if you want to split the NFT between multiple people, but you don't want to have control about issuing more tokens. So you don't want anybody to be able to issue some random new NFT with the same policy. And that's why the policy is so important. You can basically say, okay, after slot X, you can no longer mint any new tokens. And then once that slot is reached, it really is an NFT. And that's also what we do with the NFT maker. So with every new NFT, we basically say, okay, some random slot in the future, I think like 1,000 slots in the future or something like that, no more tokens can be issued by using this policy. And only after that slot is reached, it truly is an NFT.
Okay. That's quite a process. And you alluded to your website that you made there, the NFTmakerio. Can you explain what the website does? I'm assuming it just hides that entire process and really simplifies it.
That's exactly what it does. You can just go onto the website, just upload an image, then enter some additional information, and then it basically mints the NFT for you. So yeah, the whole process is hidden behind on my server, and that's it.
Okay. How much does it cost for someone to mint a NFT on your website?
At the moment, it costs between 9 and 10 ADA, but you receive 2 of the ADA back, so 7 to 8 ADA, right? And that's just the cost, yeah.
Yeah, and that is considerably cheaper than what you would be doing on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think that cost can be driven down in the future.
That's absolutely amazing. And one of the tweets that I saw on a thread that you were communicating on, someone said that this is absolutely amazing. My 4-year-old son or 4-year-old child can understand how to make an NFT. And that kind of experience for someone who isn't very technically minded is absolutely fantastic. So a 4-year-old can jump on and create an NFT on the Cardano blockchain. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I saw that tweet as well, and it really made me feel good. There was so much like good and nice reactions to the whole website. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, we reached, I don't know how many clicks in like less than 2 days. It's just insane. I think we had 600,000 views on social media in less than 2 days. So completely insane. But yeah, I think it just shows that the Cardano community and the crypto community in its whole really wants to have an alternative for NFTs to ETH. So they don't want to spend $200 to just mint a random NFT. They want to have it cheap and environmentally friendly, and that's what we offer now.
So what's the technical aspects behind the website? So I like from a standpoint, just looking at it, it seems very simple and very basic, but I'm sure there's quite a bit of programming that you may have done in the background. How's the website talking to the blockchain, and how's that whole process work?
Yeah, so basically what the website does is that it takes the information, takes the image and all of that, and then stores it in a database. And then like the server, which is actually minting the NFT, is completely separate from that. And it also talks to this database and then reads the information. So the website and the server are not directly connected, just via database, basically. And, it reads the information and then sees, okay, there was a new NFT minting process started. And then it always checks if there was the payment was being made. And, via Blockfrost, actually. Blockfrost is a very nice API for Cardano developers. I can just recommend it. And then once it sees that the payment has been made, it just takes the information from the database and then mints a new NFT and sends it back to the person who bought the NFT.
Sounds very simple. I was looking at Blockfrost earlier today as well, and have a nice little free tier. So if anyone wants to get into developing on the Cardano blockchain, it's a nice and free, easy way to do so.
Yeah, I can really recommend Blockfrost. They do amazing work, and they keep updating their API and keep adding stuff. Like, for example, they just added the IPFS support, which is also really cool. And I think they pin every single NFT on Cardano. Like, it doesn't even matter if it was made using their API or not. They just scan Cardano for all NFTs and then pin every IPFS file. So they make sure that the file actually stays online.
Wow. Okay. That's fantastic. So, how many NFTs have been minted through your website? Do you know?
I think we just reached like 900 today, but I'm not sure about it completely. Yeah, like 900, 800, something about that. Yeah.
When did you launch the website? It was just last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was exactly 1 week ago. Yeah, on Friday.
Yeah, that's pretty phenomenal growth in a week. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the next steps? What's planned next for the NFTmaker.io?
So, as you might know, I didn't do the website alone. So I did basically all the backend stuff, but I didn't do the design. I have Fahim, who's the designer of NFTmaker.io. And we decided that we really want to keep pushing the website, and we want to keep building a better experience for the users. And we basically want to evolve the whole page into a full-blown NFT marketplace. Right, so you can go onto the page and then mint your NFT and then trade it by having an auction or directly selling it to other people, stuff like that. And we also want to have support for multiple file formats. At the moment we only support like JPEGs and PNGs and GIFs, but we could easily implement a solution where you could upload an MP3 and audio, video, etc. So yeah, that's what we want to do. We really want to push this, and of course, smart contracts aren't there yet, so they're coming in like 2 months or so. I'm not sure exactly
about that.
And yeah, and we think that speed is our biggest advantage here. So we were basically one of the first real NFT maker platforms. And we want to be one of the first real NFT decentralized marketplaces. So we want to launch like very soon after the mainnet smart contract launch. And that's definitely, I think, achievable from my point of view. But we have to do a lot of work, and we basically have to rebuild the whole page, because at the moment it's just a prototype and it doesn't really scale. And there are many bugs as well. So yeah, we were going to rebuild everything. And we also have this Project Catalyst proposal. So we actually proposed a proposal, and that's exactly what I just said. That we want to expand the whole page into this marketplace, and we want to have like a little bit of funding, because I'm still a student, but he's already working, and we basically want to be able to commit to this full time to really build a great product that can actually rival all the big NFT marketplaces on Ethereum, like Rarible and OpenSea and all that stuff.
Yeah, I did have a look at your Ideascale submission, and it looks pretty good. Very well written, proposed together.
Thank you.
Have you received any feedback in regards to it yet?
Yeah, I've received a lot of feedback. I think we are actually pretty high up in the ranking for the DApp category right now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
you're
probably.
way above me.
Oh, you also have one? I didn't see that one. I have to take
it's because it's right at the bottom. That's probably why.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna check it out later. And yeah, I mean, most people are very positive about it. Some people are a bit mad about the price that we're asking for. So we basically want to have 40,000 US dollars, and they don't understand why minting the NFT costs $10. And so, you know, there's some arguing there. But I think it's a very fair price, to be honest, because, you know, it's a big project that you have to commit for multiple months, and you have to pay servers and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna be like rewording some of the stuff. It wasn't really a very fleshed out proposal. It's not very long, but yeah, I keep working on it. I mean, we're just in the refinement stage right now, so.
That's totally fine. That's what the refinement stage is for. I think the price personally is actually quite fair. I do scope a lot of web development project works for my own company, and it seems about the right ballpark price. I guess once you flesh it out and look at all the stages of the project and what you need to actually deliver to reach your end goal, people will probably see that, yes, it is a fair price, and this is why you're asking for it.
Yeah, I think so too. But good to hear your opinion about that.
So who else? I saw 3 people on your submission. Is that right? So it's yourself, the UX designer. Yeah. What was their name again? I didn't quite catch it. Yeah, so the designer's name is Fahim. He's also from Germany, and he lives in Berlin, and he studied design basically, and he's lead designer at a startup right now. So and the third person would be Peter, who's also studying design, but he's studying like a thing in the middle. So he studies like Internet of Things, and he's very good with like the whole combination of the technical side and the design side, and being like the bridge between the two. So yeah, we are 3 people, and we truly want to commit to this project. And I think Project Catalyst is also only the first step. I mean, yeah, we're gonna use that and hopefully get the funding and hopefully build a really cool platform. But after that, who knows? I mean, there's so much potential in this space, and I think we can truly deliver a great experience on Cardano. So, yeah. From what I've seen, I think you may get the funding for your project, but what would you do if you don't? Would you still build the project? I'm not sure. Probably. Yeah, so I mean, we already started working on it, but we can't really commit to it full time if we don't get the funding. But we've also been contacted by so many people. It's actually kind of crazy, by investors, by interviewers, by everyone. It's, my inbox is just filled every single day right now. I can imagine. So yeah, there are many possibilities. I don't know yet. But maybe we can also get the funding some other way. But yeah, Project Catalyst would be the ideal solution, of course. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. I do have a feeling you probably will be able to find the funding anyway. Maybe even a second round funding to take it further if Project Catalyst funding doesn't take you to the point of where you need to get it to. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm assuming you're going through the Plutus Pioneer program as well? Yeah, I am. It started 2 weeks ago, I believe, and I didn't really have any time yet. So yeah, I only watched like the first video, and it was very interesting, but I couldn't really do the homework that we were assigned. And yeah, it's just I've been so busy right now, and I'm gonna take a look at the whole thing like this weekend, I guess, and then really dig deeper into Plutus. But I'm really looking forward to that. I think the Pioneer program is absolutely amazing, and I mean, there are so many programmers in there. It's kind of insane. Yeah. I really can't wait for the smart contract launch. I think a lot of cool things are going to be done on Cardano. I think it's fantastic that so many programmers are being trained up at the same time to really push that launch. So I know a lot of people have some really cool ideas and concepts, just waiting to get out. So as soon as people start rolling it out to the testnet and we can see some of these ideas come to light, I think a lot of more people will be excited about Cardano in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Any moment now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How can people contact you?
Either
Not that you need any more people to contact you right now. You've got work.
No, I'm very happy about every single message or email I receive. It just takes me some time to respond, so please keep that in mind. But you can either contact me via my Twitter, so at PayDearFind, or just search for Patrick Tobler, and or via email, so patrick@tobler.de, or via LinkedIn, I guess, and other stuff. Someone actually even contacted me via my private Instagram. So people are really good at finding out the correct way to contact people. But the best way is definitely my email, patrick@tobler.de.
Sure thing. I'll put those in the show notes for the podcast episode.
Perfect.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Patrick, for joining me on this podcast.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
I hope everyone has gotten something out of that podcast interview. And if you're thinking about making an NFT, have a look at nft-maker.io and check out the process there and see if it is easy enough for you to make your own NFT on his website. Now, we're coming up to the final weeks of the Crypto Steel Capsule giveaway, and a lot more people have started to enter the competition, so you have to be in it to win it. All you have to do is jump onto the Twitter account CardanoAU, and you will find a pinned tweet there. You need to do a quote tweet and tell us exactly why you love Cardano so much. And you might as well give us a like and a follow there as well at the same time. And we will be drawing that after the Cardano 360 update, the episode right after that one. So I think it might be episode 6, maybe, off the top of my head. Not sure, but it's after the end of the month roundup from Cardano. Now, I also have a live event that is coming up, a streamed live AMA, mainly to talk about the podcast, anything you might want to ask and know, and also about our stake pool as well and how that progress is going. You can find the scheduled event on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel, and you can find those links on the podcast episode show notes as well at cardano.com.au/EP004. Now, before we finish, I'd like to read out a podcast review that was left by Jay Zammit. Great fountain of knowledge. Love this podcast as it delivers on point on many topics around Cardano for all to learn in an easy to follow and understandable manner. Now, if you have found this podcast useful, please consider leaving a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps with the discoverability of the podcast. And make sure you share it with all your friends if you're not listening to it on Apple Podcasts, whether it's Spotify or Google Podcasts, whatever network you happen to be listening on. Now, until next time, everyone, please keep spreading the Cardano love. We'll be getting a lot of it on our Twitter account. And I love to see more reasons why you absolutely love Cardano and think it's the future of all blockchains. All right, until next time, everyone. Bye.